floss tube. Hello crafty friends! How's everybody doing today? Welcome back to our daily Flossmas Vlogmas countdown. My name is Caroline. I'm recording here in London, Ontario, Canada. And if you've been following along the last few days, you can probably tell I'm feeling a whole lot better. Yeah, so let's dig in to day 12 and let's see what surprises we have in store for us today. Day 12 brings us the most beautiful rose pink. And the name of this beauty is The Occasion. Now there's a pun in here. It's rose color and it's the occasion. Do you get it? Rose to the occasion. This is the occasion. Haha. We thought that was quite funny when Hannah came up with that. Just loved it. Look at that floss. Look at that floss. Oh, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, day 12 stitching. And our little treat from Jacob. Today we are talking about one of his favorite museums. And he is going to have a treat over on his YouTube channel for us again today. And he's going to be sharing a museum with us. Our stitching for the day is going to be happening in these two bottom triangles, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's fairly straightforward stitching, not a lot of counting, and yeah, should be enjoyable. So let's get to it. So today's stitching is going to be a lot of fun, and honestly, love today's colors so much. So I am going to actually get to my stitching a little bit later this afternoon, and I'll probably just film a final clip of my stitching for the countdown, and I'll put it in at the very end of this video because I have a fair few things to show you today because it's been a few days since we had a sit-down chat. So let me show you what I've been up to. While I've had you know, some downtime over the last couple of days over the weekend, I was able to still stitch, fortunately. I know a few of my friends who have had similar virus and they really had no energy and really were, you know, unable to really do much other than rest. I was pretty lucky. I was actually still able to stitch some. So I'll show you what I got up to. I did, let me show you my knitting first because I've sort of fallen off. I had big plans to finish the second sock by the end of the month, and I just don't think it's gonna happen. But that's okay. I'll finish, it gets finished when it's finished, but I did finish the cuff. So I thought I would show you that. The cuff is done, and I'm ready to move on to the pattern. This is the heel toe do-si-do sock, Crazy Sock Lady, and yeah, the yarn is by Timber Yarns, and it was the sampler Stripe-tember yarn that we were selling in for September. I think we're gonna do that again next year. In fact, I'm pretty positive we're gonna do that again next year. We'll do a yarn cross-stitch collaboration with Ellen of Maximum Cross Stitch as well as Heather of Timber Yarns again, because that was really a lot of fun this past year. So we're already making plans. So, Darling Starling. You might remember this was a new start for me a few days ago. I sort of decided last minute that I wanted to stitch my niece Clara a Christmas present. But I didn't want to, I wanted to use this pink Aida that we had. So I dug out the pink Aida from the linen room, and then I paired a couple of flosses with it, and I've got my holiday needle minder on there. Look how much I've done. Sorry, you can see me looking up because that's where the part of my glasses are that I can see out of. So Darling Starling, this is such a fun stitch. So this is Legendary, and Hussy, Roxy Floss Co. So those two colors together on this Aida, so fun. so fun. I think we still have some kits left. And the other day I said, you know, I wasn't sure what it was called. There's some collection on our website either called Caroline's Curated Kits or Stitch with Caroline or something. It's not. It's Evertote Curated Kits. And we still have some 18 count and some 16 count. But just as a reminder, the 18 count is slightly lighter than the 16 count. But these flosses look great on both. Am I gonna finish it in time for Christmas? I don't know. It's stitching up pretty darn fast though. She doesn't know about it. So I've always got that in my back pocket, right? I can save it for, you know, finish it. Just send her a just because gift. Those are fun too. Be Merry All. This is the collaboration that we did with Bart Dunn last Christmas. And I didn't finish the stitching of it last year. In fact, I was pathetic last year. I only did, I think, the bottom border and the word Christmas by the time the season was over. And it had been on my mind ever since last year that I wanted to focus on it. I wanted it to be a focus piece for me this December. And I'm very happy to say I am really closing in on a finish. So, I'll bring it in and angle it so you can see my lettering there. I know in certain lights the lettering, you know, is tricky to see, but when you catch it just right, it's so good. The colors in this are so fun. This is a 32 count Billie Jean linen, and the called for by Roxy Flosco, and the called for Roxy Flosco colors. So, you know, I should be finished this fairly soon. There's not much more to do. I have, the words are almost done. I have one more row of words. I have to finish the word deck, and then there's Be Merry All above that, and then the top border, which is a very simple stitch. So, I smell a finish coming up, which is exciting. So that's what I've been working on. So I had a little idea this morning because I was looking at some of the pieces in my house that I've finished and framed. And I was thinking, you know, I wanted to share a few of them with you, and I thought, well, I've shown that one a number of times, but I don't think I've shared that one. And then I thought, it doesn't matter if I've shared them before, because I always like to see things over and over again. So what I thought I would do is, it is the 12th of December. We have 12 days until Christmas Eve. So I thought I would do 12 days of finishes. Starting today, taking us all the way up to the 24th, I'm going to share with you one of my finishes from here in my house that it hangs on my wall, because it also helps me reappreciate them. Because, you know, when you see something every day for 15 years, it tends to lose its magic. However, I love these things, and so it's giving me fresh eyes to share them with you. So first up, for the first day of the 12 days of finishes, we have a piece by Keslin Designs. Now, don't ask me to tell you what the piece is called, because I don't remember, but I actually do remember the floss that I used. So here it is. And I think if I've shared this one, it's only been in passing. And I'll try to get it so that you don't see the glare. Maybe if I do it this way. Is that better or worse? I'm not sure. That's part of the problem with showing you pieces that are framed and with having glass in them, isn't it? There. I've fiddled around. I will have edited all of this part out so that I could get it at its best vantage for you to see it with the minimal amount of glare coming off the glass. So this is, again, it's a piece by Keslin Designs, and they have a lot of designs that I really like. I love geometric, I love monochromatic designs. And this one, the instant I saw the cover photo, I wanted to stitch this. I'll figure out the count fabric in a minute, but I did stitch this with Classic Colorworks. And at the time that I kitted this up, they were Crescent Colors. So Classic Colorworks bandana. And so as you can tell, this color has long been a favorite of mine for many a year. Now, the count of this fabric is, now I have to take my glasses off to see this. This is a 32 count. So it's a 32 count, 2 strands of floss over 2, and Classic Colorworks bandana. And I'll bring it in close so that you can see. Look at those motifs. Aren't they something else? Yeah, each one is different. This was so fun to stitch. I have no idea how many skeins it took me. I don't remember. I do remember I had to go back and buy another one because I think it was this piece that I learned my lesson with buying it more than I needed. So I bought it, after this project, I started buying insurance skeins just in case. So I probably have way more insurance skeins from old projects than I'll ever need, but when you're working with hand-dyed floss, the last thing you want to have happen is to run out, because dye lots change fast, and the next time you go to purchase that floss, it's probably going to be slightly different. And especially if you're stitching a monochromatic piece, if you don't get the same dye lot and you've stitched all but like one little area, you're really going to notice it. So I usually always will buy one extra skein than what I think I need, and then I know that I have enough. So yeah, isn't that great? That's so good. There are a couple of ways to hide skeins that are different dye lots. That's a useful trick to know, because if you, let's say you go to a shop and there's a color that you fall in love with, and maybe they have 10 skeins of floss, but 4 of them are one dye lot and 6 of them are another dye lot. And I'm using examples here, right? So it's a hypothetical situation. But let's say your project needs 10 skeins. So 4 of them are one dye lot, 6 of them are another dye lot. But the tones between the 2 flosses are the same. It's just that there's color variation. Do you know what I mean? Like, they just don't look exactly the same between the 2 dye lots, which is very common for hand-dyed floss. It happens, well, almost every time it happens. It's gonna happen because it's a little science experiment going on in your dye pot every time, and science experiment mixed with wishes and prayers. You never know what's gonna come out of the pot. So if you can purchase all 10, if you like the color in general, if you think that they work together, and then you can stitch your piece so that you're mixing and matching those 2 dye lots throughout the entire piece. Now, this isn't for everybody, but you're gonna come up with a slightly more variegated look throughout your piece, more color variation throughout your piece, but the tones are gonna be the same. And because you know in advance that you're working with 2 different dye lots, you can pick and choose. So you'll pick one strand from one dye lot and stitch, and then you'll pick another strand from the other dye lot and stitch. So knitters do this all the time when they have yarn, especially hand-dyed yarn, because each skein can be different. Even if it's from the same dye lot, each skein can be different. So they'll knit one row with one skein, and they'll knit the second row with the other skein, and then they will alternate skeins. So if you're knitting a shawl that has two skeins of yarn, one skein one row, and then the other skein the next row, alternating for the entire shawl, and then you're sort of mixing your dye lots together, and then you end up with a project that is more cohesive overall than if you were to knit with entirely one skein of one yarn ball and then the second skein of the other one. You might have that line that shows that demarcation line between the 2 skeins. Works with cross stitch too. It works with, if you have one skein that's slightly different and you know ahead of time, you can work it in beforehand and, you know, scatter that throughout, and it becomes a design element purposefully, and looks pretty good. Anyway, I was lucky enough, because I had stitched this very deliberately, piece by piece by piece by piece, and then I ran out of floss. And fortunately, my needle workshop still had a skein left of the same dye lot. I got very lucky. So yeah, Keslan Designs, Classic Colorworks bandana. Don't remember the name of the piece, but one of my favorites. So that is today's finish of the day. What will I show you tomorrow? Only time will tell. Okay, well, I'm going to go and get to my stitching now. And Nicholas has his bassoon lesson tonight. I did work from home today, as I'm sure you can tell. I was still feeling pretty crummy this morning, so I decided to not go into the workshop today. I did some work from home. Oh, speaking of work, what I did, I've listed the floss colors days 6 through 10 for the countdown. They are now available on the website as both a set of 5 as well as individual floss colors. Everything that we have left has been listed in the shop. A couple of those colors will be making it into the regular catalog. Sommelier in particular, I know that that is one that's a must-have for me. So whatever Carrie has to do to make that happen, I'm gonna just put my 2 cents in right now that, you know, that's got to be a color we need in there. Not that we can do that for every color, but I know Sommelier, I'm pretty sure that's one that will work. The other one is Mountain Range. I'm pretty sure Mountain Range is going to be in the regular collection. I can tell you that for two of these flosses, On Point and Birthstone. So On Point was the ballet pink and Birthstone was the sort of amethysty purple. Those 2 flosses in particular, I know for a fact we had 2 dye lots that we sent out for the holiday countdown boxes. So if you are purchasing more Birthstone or On Point, it is possible that you may receive a different dye lot than your original skein. The other 3 flosses, Blue Moon, Sommelier, and Mountain Range, the inventory that's in the shop is from the same dye lot as your countdown box. I used to try at the very beginning to mark in when we had new dye lots going into the shop, and it very quickly became something that we just couldn't. There's like 300 colors, right? And Carrie dyes in sometimes a single hank if we need more, and trying to keep up with 300 different colors, and we're still a small shop, she's a small dyer, so chances are pretty good that it's going to be a different dye lot. Maybe, sometimes, you know what I mean? It's hard to say. It's one of those really tricky things. Anyways, enough jibber jabber. I'm going to go and do my countdown stitching. So I'll be back in a little bit. Here we go. Beanie. It's 8:30 at night, so my lighting is, I've just got my stitching light on here, and there are our stitches for the day. Done and done. I'll see you tomorrow for day 13. Happy stitching, everyone.